It's good to have you back. If you are just joining us, this is Firecrackers and we're just about to get started. And we're starting with the Tudunbiri drone attack in Kaduna State. Is it incompetence or just an honest mistake that all Nigerians should try to be understanding of what happened? And we have joining us live from Kaduna State, Mark John Ode, a conflict analyst from Northern Nigeria. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. All right, moving on to the topic we have. Let me even first start with my studio guest here. So let us even start with our caption. Is it incompetence or honest mistake that all Nigerians should work towards forgiving the military for what happened?
Well, I would say it's another mistake. That it's not incompetence, because Nigerian military is known to be competent, and it's been acclaimed all over the world where they have gone on international military operation, UN operations, and they've been adjudged to be one of the best. So it can't be competent. It can't be honest mistake. But what we all need to do is to make sure that we don't have a repeat of such another mistake again, because we are having too many.
Definitely. And we count the first one as mistake, the second one as mistake. Do we still count the third one too? Especially when human lives are involved.
Especially when human lives are involved, and in that number that they are involved. And so if we cannot continue to have those honest mistakes again. It's something that must be eradicated.
Definitely, and we'll talk about that as we move on in this topic. And now to Mike John Ode, joining us live from Kaduna State. What is your assessment of what happened in Tudunbiri in Kaduna State? Would you say it was incompetence or honest mistake?
Well,
No, thank you for that.
yeah. Like the first guest has said, this is an honest mistake. It's a mistake that is bound to happen. And it is not a case of incompetence. If you ask me, the military actually acted professionally. The outcome was just unintended consequences of war. In war, people get killed by mistake. And don't forget, in northern Nigeria, we are in a state of war. That's just the plain truth. And the enemies, actually, the terrorists, are very, very close by. And a slight mistake from two sides, anything could happen. So we don't see this as incompetence. Having covered conflict in northern Nigeria for more than 6 years, I know what would have happened if these military guys have not actually responded or moved to that area using an area drone. They will still be blamed. So what actually happened was not a case of incompetence, but simply a mistake that should have not happened. I mean, a regrettable incident. And of course, don't forget, mistakes will always happen, whether you are 30 years, you are 40 years, you are 50 years, whether the military is professionalized, certain mistakes are bound to happen along the line. So when you say it has happened first time, second time, of course, it's going to happen, but it's regrettable. Our empathy should lie with the people that have lost their lives, the families of the victims who died mistakenly, and at least for the first time, the military has owned up. And they also said they are going to compensate the family of the victims. Either the chief of army staff, when he went there, along with the chief of defense staff, they donated 10 million. The Kaduna state government also promised to foot the bills and other things. And the federal government too is also offering compensation. But by and large, what actually happened was not a case of, it's not a case of incompetence. It's just a mistake. And that we wish it should not happen.
All right, very well. Like you said, like our sympathy now should be with the families of the victims, the people who have lost lots of lives. We have someone saying that they lost up to 30 family members in that drone attack that occurred. Now, let us look at it this way. Since we want all our sympathy to be with the victims now, these are the people that they expect should be their protectors, and they've suffered great loss in the hands of the Nigerian army, who they should be able to rely on 100% for their security. That being said, and then when we are talking about money compensation, you would have to agree with me that no matter the amount of money you could give a person, it does not fix that loss of separation. The feelings you have attached to your family members, the loved ones, the moments, the memories, everything you've gotten together, you would have to agree with me that money does not take all that away. It is not just like a quick fix ingredient. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you are right. Money is not everything. But let me ask you a question. If somebody commits an honest mistake and comes and tell you, look, this is my mistake and I'm sorry about it, what do I do to compensate you or to make it up to you? I know you've lost someone or you've lost something by what I did. Would you ask for this person to be killed? Would you ask for him to be sent to jail? What would you ask for? Now, let me tell you again, the people that were killed are predominantly in that area, Muslim. But I'm not ruling out the fact that Christians are also into the bill. Because Kaduna is mixed, Christians are Muslim. But I will tell you something, Islamically, if a mother is committed, and the person the murderer owns up to this, to his offense and say, look, I did this in mistake, what I did was wrong and it was a mistake. Please accept my apologies and I'm ready to pay compensation. If the family of the dead said, well, we are going to accept your compensation, by the way, it is called diya. What do? You accept it and the man is forgiven. I'm sure there is a place for forgiveness too in the Bible. If you commit an offense and you say, look, I am sorry, that is it. Of course, there will be inquiries into what happened. The first thing after this very incident, what will readily come to mind is first, you grieve. There's going to be grievances amongst the family of the bereaved. Even the Nigerian armed forces themselves are going to, they are going to be at a loss. What really happened? They are not going to be feeling happy at this stage. And then after the sadness, the feeling of grief, sadness, you start looking at what actually led to these mistakes. Who is responsible for these mistakes? How do we go about correcting these mistakes? And that is all about it. And don't forget, if you say we should not forgive, or if you say compensation is not supposed to come out, these people have lost somebody, if they have lost people, 30 persons, then what do you prescribe? Kill the people that actually made these mistakes? What do you really want? What do they want? You ask them, the federal government says they are going to take care of them. Kaduna state government, I'm sure, says they are going to take care of them. The military also offered, and a lot of them, they said even up to the university level, a foundation is going to take care of the family of those that died. I think that is enough. And there were apologies, hundreds of apologies. The chief of defense staff came, he apologized. The chief of army staff came, he also made an apology. Even the governor apologized. Let me take you back some few years ago. The Nigerian army that we know, the Nigerian military that we know, if such things happen, they may not even say it, they will deny it. But we are seeing a rebranded army owning up to the mistakes they made. That shows that this army is ready to come out to tackle insecurity and to be open and to be honest. And if I were anybody, if I was offered the compensation, I would take it. No amount of money will bring back the lost ones, the dead ones. No amount of punishment will also bring out people that have died. So what else? What do? We compensate and then we pray for God to grant them the fortitude to bear this loss.
All right, very well then. And now to Dr. Felix. Yeah. What steps do you think the Nigerian military could take? Because it's not just the army, this could have happened with the Air Force, the Navy. What steps do you think they should take to make sure things like this do not occur?
Okay, I'm sure that's what should be going on, okay? with a review of what happened. Because with an unmanned aerial vehicle, it's technology driven. So it can be up there for a number of hours to be as exact before you press the button, okay, to strike. So it's manageable, it's more manageable than an Air Force plane, helicopter or whatever, or a gun. So you go up there, you can zoom the camera. So there are a lot of things that happen with the military drones. So the cameras are very good, that you can be exact to know what you are dealing with. So I think in this case, maybe they said the appearance, the movement of these people resemble that of the bandits. So maybe the analysis was not thorough. So that's why there will be need for inquiries, and so there can be investigation to prevent the reoccurrence of such incident. Because okay, it's a honest mistake, but 85 lives have been lost. People have been altered permanently. And so it's not good for our military, it's not good for, because the military also need the binding of the local people for them to win this war against bandits. So, and if you don't get that cooperation from the local communities, there's no way such battle can go on. So it's supposed to be based on intelligence, okay? And when we talk about intelligence that you need to use to deal with, to make that kind of strike, it has to be thorough. It's different from information. Maybe they will have gotten information that bandits are gathering somewhere. So you don't need to subject that information to intelligence. You need to now process it. Okay? Who is giving all that information? How reliable is that information? Then, because it's a drone, you know, a drone has an advantage over the Air Force, jet fighter, and all of that. Because they go up there, they have to know, okay, do we have enough fuel? But, you know, drones are unmanned area vehicle. They don't use petrol, they don't use diesel, it's just technology driven. So once you go up there, it has the ability to stay for a number of hours to be very sure, okay, of when to strike and what target to strike. So I'm sure, because I've been in the military myself before, so I know that now that we subject that attack, that mistake, to a very diligent review in the military, so that to prevent an reoccurrence, because it's not good for our military, and it's not good for us as Nigerians.
Definitely, definitely. And now to my guest, Mr. Mike Ode, what else would you recommend that could be done to ensure that there's no repeat of this?
Well, let me start. Let me also say something here. You see, if you are in Kaduna, if you are in Katsina, you are in Zamfara, or even part of Sokoto, you will understand the tricky situation that the military were in. Now, I will also take you back to a place called Southern Kaduna. When there is a terrorist attack, the first thing you will see the villagers, the victims talking about is, we called the military and they did not pick, they did not pick our call. Despite the fact that the military, they are just few minutes away from us, few steps, few roadblocks away from us, they did not come around. But this time around, the military actually came through their unmanned area vehicle, but a mistake was made. Now, again, if you go to places like Brunungwari, Igabi, and Giwa, you discover that the bandits or the terrorists are very, very close by. They have surrounded or they have embedded themselves in some of these communities, like the Ansaru. They go to Brunungwari communities preaching. They go to Brunungwari even collecting taxes. And people have reported them in the past to the government, to the military and the police, and nothing has happened. Now that maybe the new chief of staff, the new defense staff, the new president is in, and probably there is another, take this military out. Something happened. You see, like I told you, since these people have embedded themselves in the community, at times they roam around the community very freely. So when the military say, like, well, we saw some bandits or terrorists moving from Zamfara towards Ligari or Igabi, they may not be wrong. They may not be wrong. And the fact is, these guys could actually embed themselves or mix with the state. But what actually happened was just a mistake. Maybe the coordinates were not rightly fed. With that being said, first of all, we need professionalism in the handling of the new equipment. You must agree that the word drone is a new venture in the Nigerian army. Even in Nigeria, drones and all these technologies have not really come. They are less than 15 years. So we need the army to be trained in handling these drones. We need them to be trained in a lot of other things. Of course, I won't rule out the fact that there was an intelligence report. I know there will be military intelligence on the ground, but we need more military intelligence on the ground. And we also need to sensitize the community, the residents of the community. Look, feel free to report to the authority when you sight bandits around, when you have noticed that bandits are coming. Like I told you before now, if you go to places like Brunungwari, you see the bandits will just be passing around, and you see the members of the community, they will stand aside till the bandits pass with their guns, because they have reported and reported and reported without nothing happened. Even when the Greenfield University's students were kidnapped, I'm sure where the students were kept were also known. But what could you do? The military have not taken steps, but now would not take a step, and even if you report, nothing really happens. But now we have a new military that is ready to take them out, and we are seeing results. Every now and then in Kaduna, in Katsina, we see them. You see aeroplanes flying around. You see, and they say they have eliminated this, they have neutralized, and you see the bodies are being shown, unlike in the past. So now what the people need to do is, first of all, report the movement of bandits to the military. And of course, like I said, the military also needs to be professional in handling these new equipment. And we need more of these troops on the ground, more boots on the ground. Whether you want it or not, Nigerian soldiers, Nigerian military is overstretched. We have them virtually in the 35 states of this country. And so when somebody is overworked to a point, he gets tired and mishap could happen. So we need more military men. We need to recruit both in the Air Force, in the Army, the Navy, and the police, and the civil defense. I'm not sure the total number of the men under arms in Nigeria is up to 500. And yet we have insurgency in the northwest, we have insurgency in the northeast, we have it in the north central, we have it in the southeast. It's only the southwest that is not really showing that, it's not really infested by bandits. But then you can see what happened in Ondo and in the other places. So, the military is overstretched. So we need more men, we need more recruitment, and we need more arms, we need more munitions, we need more equipment, and we need intelligence gathering. And of course, we need to support the military. We cannot be vilifying the military and saying that, look, they need to be punished, they made a mistake. This as if we are on the field with them. Most of these guys you've seen, a lot of them are under risk. There are places you do not go to in Kaduna, in Katsina. These military guys volunteer. They offer their lives, they go. Sometimes they die. Sometimes they are killed. Sometimes when they are captured, they are butchered. So we need to encourage them. But above all, we need to let the government know that, yes, retrain them, and also we need to tell residents of communities, affected communities, that, look, report incidences of terrorists moving around to the military so that they can be promptly dealt with. That is my take, and that will be my recommendation.
All right, very well. Thank you so much for that. That has been very educative and informative as well. So now, the reason this even happened in the first place is because of insecurity that has infested most of northern parts of Nigeria. So now, like you said earlier, we have a new chief of army staff, we have new chief of defense staff. Now, since they've assumed office, how would you rate their performances compared to what was obtainable in the past? I know that you mentioned it briefly, but I would like you to delve more into it now.
Well, I for once, a lot of people around my area can sleep with their eyes closed. in Kaduna. You can ply the Abuja Kaduna Expressway without any fear. Recently, I went to Shafi local government in Zamfara state from Kaduna and nothing happened. But that wasn't the case just 9 months ago. Believe me, there are places you go, once it is 9 o'clock, 9 p.m., you start hearing scatter of guns, gunshot. And when you call the hotlines that the military has given, nothing will happen till the next day. And when you come out as as an analyst, as a reporter, they will tell you so person has been kidnapped, so kidnapped, this person has been murdered. But that has not been the case anymore. I was with the chairman. I will call the chairman of all, Association of Farmers Association of Nigeria in Katsina, and he told me that look, the bandits have been chased away. Very few. The same thing in Zamfara. I know the bandits they are still active, but not as it used to be. I called the spokesman of Operation Hadarin Daji, Captain Ibrahim Yaya, and he told me that look, the military is conducting an operation in the whole northwest, and they are going to get one of the most notorious bandits. It's called Dogo Gidi, that he was wounded, but nonetheless they are going to get him. You see, so the military has actually upped their games and performances since the coming of this administration. It wasn't like before when you can call and probably when there is an attack, some incidents of bandit attack, you call and you just either you run to the bush or you just keep on praying till they are done and they go. No, this time the military is responsive, is proactive. It is taking the battle to them in the bush. And anytime you call the military, they are there. So what else do we need? We just need to encourage them, say, look, we are with you, go. Give them information. Encourage these people. They are dying also. They have been killed. Was it September? A Nigerian army, a Nigerian helicopter, Air Force helicopter was shot down. Number of officers were killed. In Borno, last year, the same thing. Some military men were also killed. They were ambushed and killed. In Taraba, the bandits also killed some military men. So they lose their lives in trying to defend the nation from internal and external aggression. Whether you want it or not, these people that are killing Nigerians, a lot of them are not Nigerians. They are coming from other parts of the world. So I think reach to a good level. If you will ask for my assessment, which you did, I will give the military, at least for now, 60%. And I also urge them to keep up the good work.
All right, thank you so much for that. So now to Dr. Felix, because now what caused this too, apart from the insecurity thing, is also the use of technology. So would you have advised that while they were going to operate in that area, they should have probably used equipment with less risk, of affecting innocent people rather than the one that just clears everyone up in the area?
No, there are going to be challenges, okay, depending on the terrain where they're operating. And, those equipments are not perfect, okay? So, but they will just try as much as possible. And they operate based on the intelligence that they have. Before setting out, before, putting those plans together, it has to be based on intelligence. And I think I follow up with some of the things that happened, that they saw that the movement of the people who are doing this festival, there's a Muslim, whatever, it was similar to the movement of bandits. And so that was the intelligence that they gathered, and that was the intelligence that they used. But that means that intelligence was not exact, was not 100%. So it is just something that happens that that's meant to happen. So I think that's why we say it's a honest mistake, because no Nigeria military, whether Air Force, the Army or Navy, we set out to go and kill Nigerians. Okay? They are looking for bandits, they are looking for people who are responsible for the insecurity of the nation. So they will not go and affect and attack enemy forces or the local communities, unarmed innocent civilians. Definitely that's not the objective. So that in an attempt to think, oh, let's take these bandits out, because their movement is similar to what they have seen in the past, this thing happened. So it's a mistake, and it's bound to happen. But what they are saying is that going forward is how to make sure that we don't allow a recurrence of what happened.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And okay, do you have a contribution to that? Okay,
It's,
please go ahead.
the guest in the studios. What happened was an honest mistake, and going forward, we should look for ways to make sure these do not happen again. Like he said, probably the drones were fed with before movement that were similar to that of the bandits. And that area, Igabi, is an area, Igabi, Giwa, and Brunungwari. These are areas we know that are very much infested with terrorists. If you know what is called Kosei Akara, a terrorist can just walk up to a woman that fries Akara with his gun slung in his shoulder and say, look, I want to buy Kosei. In those days, even the Sultan of Sokoto alluded to it, that people, terrorists, are openly carrying guns and moving up and down. You see, so that place is infested. The people there are brutalized. They have been terrorized into silence before this happened. And so the military, like your guest in the studios have said, is we should look for a way to prevent this thing from happening. And don't forget, machines also cannot. I remember F-35 stealth, the most expensive jet, the most, technologically driven jet in this, in this climb, in this world, in this country, is it continent or a world, crashed in America. And another one crashed in Asia. Again, the Osprey helicopter can build, and Americans pride themselves in technology, also crashed recently in Japan. So technologies do malfunction, and it can lead to loss of life. So what we should do is check, and professionalism, training, more men manning these crafts, more men, so that there could be you are not tired, you are not bored, so that you'll be looking refreshed, you'll be refreshed when you're on call for duty, and so on and so forth. And it's, again, like I said, the community residents themselves need to be very cautious. They need to be very conscious, and they need to come out of their fear and report to the military what is happening now. It's not like before. Meanwhile, we should also sympathize with them. Really, a lot of people lost their lives. 30 members of a family, it's not a good one. It's not a good story. But then, we need to encourage the men under arms to move ahead. Let them not be held down by guilt. And that was why Mutawali Bello, the Minister for Defense, when he went to meet with the armed forces, he commended them. He asked them not to be intimidated, because if you start blaming the military, it will bring their morale down. And if the morals of the military are down, then who do we turn to?
Yes, definitely. And it is hoped that perhaps some professional help too would be gotten for the victims, and also maybe after the investigation, the people who were also, who were at fault that this error occurred. Because like I said earlier, guilt too is not something that, you could just tap and then you switch off. That's the things we see in vampire movies, but not in reality. So we sincerely hope that professional help too is gotten for all the ones involved in this. So we thank you so much for being part of Firecrackers today. We really appreciate your insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yes, and that was Mike Ode James, who joined us live from Kaduna State, conflict analyst from Northern Nigeria. You're still on to Firecrackers. Let's go on a break.